Hi, I'm Woody from Polar. This is Fab from Polar, and you're with Grasser Productions.
Hi, my name's Lucas, you're watching Grasser Production, and I'm here today with Woody and Fab from Polar, from the UK. First of all, congratulations to your new record, guys.
Thank you. Cheers, thanks.
You're on the record release tour right now. It's the 5th night. How is the tour so far?
It's great. It feels like it's just getting stronger and stronger, like every day that goes by. To be honest, it started at a high level. They set the bar high on the first night, and the last one was my favourite one. It was just getting busier and busier and more crazy. And tonight, hopefully, will be even better.
It's just a good feeling to come with like a new set list, a new record, and to finally see people's responses to the new songs in a live environment. That for me has been, I think for all of us, has been a really nice sort of feeling. It's been like a long time coming kind of feeling. So to finally get to this stage it's amazing, and the crowds have been fantastic. The fans have really got behind this record, and especially in a live environment, it's nice to see it all come alive, and in that aspect, definitely.
Yeah, sure. So I love the new record, by the way.
Thank you.
So, as we already said before the interview, you remember the last interview you gave Grasser Productions. It was 3 years ago. You released your last album, No Cure, No Savior. Give us a quick recap. What has happened so far between those interviews?
Since then, oh wow, a hell of a lot of performances, a hell of a lot of concerts, that's for sure. A lot of touring. Like you say, in between that time, we've grown as people. We've experienced a lot outside of the band, and we've written an album that we feel very proud of, and it's arguably my favourite. I love them all, but it's probably my favourite one. I think it's I don't know, I get the most sort of gratification out of this album personally, for me.
Okay. I think personal situations at home have changed. 3 years can be a long time, and I think for us, we've put a very honest record out, like lyrically, which is something we've never done before. So that was a challenge. And that was a good way for us to release a lot of like pent up stress and anger, and to resolve a lot of things sort of lyrically. So yeah, a lot changed, but that change has been sort of like encased in our new album Nova.
So you quite recently signed with Rising Empire Records, and there is a quote on the website of you guys. You want to read it out for me? It's on the bottom here.
Releasing Drive is a huge step forward for Polar. The emotion that has gone into the new record is 100% real. We feel we are no longer the band you all knew. This is the beginning of something pure. Drive is a symbol of the maturity of where the band is and where we are as people.
Though that's a pretty big statement, of course. So you already started the topic. What does that mean for you? What has changed?
It's funny. Every interview has touched on this, because I think people can hear the honesty in the songs. They can hear the reality in the lyrics, which why it's my favourite album, because I feel like it's the strongest message. It's the clearest message, and it's the message that means the most to the band. It was a chance for us to put a hell of a lot on record, put it out there. We've really sort of made ourselves quite vulnerable in that respect. We've laid all our problems, our lives, our experiences. We've laid them all out to bear, really.
Yeah, we have been very honest with ourselves, and that had to start, like, literally us, before it became anything else. And I think for us it was a challenge to make a much more honest record about real things that have happened in our lives, and at the same time, we've, over that 3-year span, have matured as people. We're getting older, whether that be the situations we're going through or just being the people we are. And I feel that Nova really kind of kind of has taken that kind of period of time and put it into words, and it's a fantastic release. So yeah, and the maturity side is that we are getting older. You know, the music itself and the lyrics has taken that maturity, and it's really kind of tried to really push it out of us. So I think that statement is bold, but I think it really is something to stand by.
Yeah.
And not all of the songs are like negative. You know, a lot of them are actually quite positive. Yeah. There's brotherhood. There's songs about falling in love, and it's something that we never sung about that before. You know what I mean? Jesus, and so it's not all negative, but what it is it's pure. You know what I mean? It's just like I feel like because we're just at that point, aren't we? Where I think literally don't care what people think. This is the music that we are going to write. This is what matters to us, and what we want to write the lyrics about. Like, and I just think it works. And even if if the album completely failed, to me it wouldn't even matter, because it was cathartic getting some of this stuff out. You know.
So congrats on that, because that's a pretty big achievement for a band. Would you say it does affect your live performance too, performing the new songs when they're so personal? No,
I think we maybe have more emotional attachment to the new songs because they're a bit more personal, but we've always had the mentality to go out and give it 110%, put the best show on that we possibly can, make those live environments really come alive, make people walk away from a show feel like they've really experienced something, really sort of like walking away with something like a memory that they're never going to lose. That's always been the ethic. Maybe the newer songs have a bit more of emotional attachment. We're a bit closer to those because they are a bit more closer to our heart, but the live show has never changed. The ethic has always gone out to give 110% and make people actually feel something for that however long you're on stage. All right. I'm
looking forward to the show tonight, of course.
We are. Right. It's been.
So let's leave the record aside for a minute. We already talked about you guys signing a new record deal. What has changed for you as a band? Was it a big achievement for you? I mean, Rising Empire is a subdivision of Nuclear Blast, which is one of the biggest metal record labels in the world, so it has to be a big achievement.
Fantastic. It was a major achievement.
Yeah. I mean, it's got some of our favourite bands on there, or has had in the past. There's some of our favourite bands have been...
They're still on it.
They're still on it.
Yeah.
Who, for example? I'm sorry.
Machine Head.
Machine Head for me, yeah.
Die Art's Murderer on there. So like bands that we grew up with, like Soulfly, you go through that list, and there's some really nostalgic bands for us, definitely. But then there's a lot of bands that are creating massive waves and opening doors, like Die Art's Murder. So the relevance to like current to where it was years and years ago. Plus, as a label, the enthusiasm, the drive, the real sort of emotional connection they have with their bands is fantastic. It's a great feeling to be part of something that's got so much creativity behind it and so much push for their bands. And to have that name as a representation behind Polar, that's a fantastic achievement. That's that in itself. I think it's good. But not only that, we've had changes in the band. Our long-term drummer of 10 years, Nick, left, not in bad blood, but it was time for him to move on and do life. So we've got a new drummer now, and that's created a new twist. It's got a new dynamic. I should get my words out, which is great, and that's added a little bit a new fresh start in certain respects of like playing live. So everything that has changed with our band hasn't changed for the worse, it's changed for the best.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we've certainly noticed a difference with the Rising Empire. Like you say, the weight that they carry in the industry is something that we haven't experienced previously to this degree. Which sounds obvious because they're the biggest label that we've ever signed to. So as a result, you will feel the effects. So you need things like that. Like you can write the best songs in the world, but if no one gets the opportunity to hear them, then that's the end of the road, isn't it? So we love them. It's a great relationship. It feels like a bit of a family. So it's great. It's really good.
That's nice to hear. So let's get back to the record, but talk about it a bit more musically. You had a bit of a style change over the years now, and you had a little bit of help on the record for the vocals. What can you tell us about that?
In terms of Ellie Price, is that? Yeah. So, I mean, Ellie Price has been on how many albums now?
This is her third one.
She's been on 3 different albums, on all the songs, on all those 3 albums. So people, probably won't know that, but it just depends, like, at what degree we feel like how to the front she should be. Like something like Amber, for example, it just felt right to have like a female vocal on that beginning, but and
the music lent itself.
Yeah, exactly. And so we obviously, she was obviously the girl that we use. So we just make music, and I don't think we like to have like restrictions where like we can't have vocals on the album that isn't one of the band. That's just complete rubbish, because there's songwriters out there that write songs for pop artists and bands and stuff. They do it.
Not only pop artists, but metal bands too.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So that's obviously an extreme, but coming back to this, it's just if we want an instrumental with no singing, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Not only did we have Ellie, but we had Tyler from Being As an Ocean. He worked on a couple of the tracks, doing more the electronica side, because that was a new dynamic that came into our band. And it's something we're still exploring. I feel we've made a bit of a headway with it. I still think that there's a lot more exploring in that avenue we can do. Really craft our art in that respect. But Tyler's really good at that. He's got a very good ear for it. He's got a very good design model and how it works. You can hear it in Being As an Ocean. We're quite inspired by that. So he's an old friend, so we went to him for some help on a couple of tracks, and he came back with some work which is included on a couple of the tracks. But I think it's nice that you can reach out to these people that have the talent that we don't necessarily not have, but we're not very good at, but they can help us, they can help sculpt it. They've got their own idea, their own ear, their own vision for it. So their little bits of sprinkles of help really kind of elevate the record.
So there's another guy called Ryan Stavru, who also sings on a lot of the new album and the last album as well. These are just to help make the end product the best it can be. We were talking about this, slightly different subject. Whereas you think like in the hip hop world, everybody collaborates with everybody. Why don't people do that in metal? Everyone's like, this is our band, this is it. We want to be bigger than you, and we shouldn't play below you. And it's just like, dude, maybe if everyone did a bit more what they do in other genres, like maybe that would just be a good thing. Maybe what's the problem in that?
It's only going to strengthen your music.
Yeah.
You only bringing these people in with fresh ears and fresh ideas. It's only going to make your music better. You should embrace that and not close doors to it. So
yeah, no barriers. If it sounds good, then
that's kind of a problem in the metal scene. You're completely right about that. It's a pity, really.
Well, it's just it's one big conversation, isn't it? It's like genres and stuff like that. It's like the more you say that we are this, then you're just limiting. You can't get out of that. We want to be this. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to be that? Just you be everything.
Okay, all right. So leading up to the record, you released several singles and music videos.
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
Looking back on it now, I quite enjoyed the Devil one, because it was something a bit different. It was something necessarily we've never really done before. The shoot was quite fun. Eric, who played the Devil, was a really nice guy. We had a really good fun time with him, and it was just something, it was quite cool, and it just had a little bit more of a different dynamic to what we've done before. It wasn't just sort of like a narrative and a bit of live, and so that for me, that was kind of a bit of a standout, because it was something that we've never really touched upon, and it kind of really complemented the way the track was, and it was something different for our fans and viewers and listeners to see. So for me, that kind of really stood out.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the lyric videos that we did, and for me, I think my favourite one is probably Cradle, because it's my brother and my nephew who are actually in the video. So that's kind of cool. It's special for me, and you know the lyrics are special for me as well. So I think that'd probably be my favourite. Drive, I think, is a very good video, just all round. I think it's just aesthetically, it just looks very good. The Devil was cool. I enjoyed that as well. So
Midnight was cold, very cold.
Really cold.
Really cold.
Yeah, in the middle of a cold field in the winter.
In a bed. But I mean, it came out fantastic. But
I knew that image from Pink Floyd. Was that an inspiration? The bed in the field? Do you know the picture?
I know the one you're on about. No, that just was a couple of still shots actually that we've just taken, and obviously we're very lucky to have a very talented videographer in Tom Green, our guitarist, and photographer, and he can kind of vision these things. So sometimes he's just taking shots, and that's just it was just a little bit of stroke of luck. It kind of mirrored the Pink Floyd shot, but yeah, no, there was no intention to mirror it. Ideally, it just happened. So a good accident, as they say.
A happy accident.
Yeah, happy accident. Yeah.
So you kind of already answered my next question. Who develops the ideas for the music videos?
Well, I mean, ideas are things that come from the band, you know. Specifics, they come from different people and stuff. But yeah, Tom is the sort of the media person within our band. So, you know, he will have a vision of how it needs to look or whatever. I'm trying to think of like who comes up with specific. I mean, it's just, you know.
We work with a company called, is it Life Art and Visuals?
Life is Art.
Life is Art Visuals, and they've done 3 of the videos on this particular run for the album, and they come with an idea. You know, we'll send them the track and they'll have their own ideas because they're the guys creating the video, and then there's a bit of a two-way street. You know, we'll shoot back a couple of ideas to them, they'll shoot some more ideas, and you kind of build this concept together. The lyric videos we did for all the tracks, 90% of the work probably was Tom, but at the same time we were aiding him with how we could develop them, how they could be done, you know, how you could sort of envision it being finished. But it's great because it meant that everyone was being as creative as they possibly could, you know, to really kind of expose this album for as much as we could.
And the artwork as well. The artwork for the album was, you know, Tom's sort of vision, and yeah, we're always there. He's the expert when it comes to things like photography and imagery. So, you know, we're there to sort of lend a hand and help to achieve, you know, the end result, which I feel is our best artwork. I think it's the most consistent. You know, it spans across all of our merchandise, websites, tour posters, literally tour laminates, like everything. You know, and it's just it gives it identity to the album. And then once this album is done and we embark on the next album, then that will be, you know, it won't look the same as this, you know.
It won't sound the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with any luck, it won't sound the same. It will be.
I wouldn't complain.
No, but you know,
we want to challenge ourselves.
Yeah, you have to be fresh. You have to be new. You know.
If you listen to all of our albums, every album's different, and I would never want to stop that. I don't think you would ever want to stop that. You would want every album to have its own identity, its own sort of standalone feel to it. So, but you know, that's an exciting avenue to go down in the future, definitely. You know, and I think the way that we are crafting our music now, we're opening a lot of doors to where we can go. You know, I don't think we'll turn into Bring Me the Horizon, but like, you know, but I don't think by any means that what they do is bad. I think it's great. I think it's challenging. It keeps people's like ears open. It creates a reaction. I think that's a fantastic thing. But we're changing ourselves. The evolution is in each album is slowly building. You know, and I think that's a good thing for us. I mean, that evolution is a good pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2019 also marks the 10-year anniversary of the band Polar.
Yeah.
So, congrats on that too.
Thank you. Still here.
Yeah. take us back 10 years. Do you remember the day you found the band?
Yeah, I remember standing in a car park.
Yeah.
We wanted to go on one tour, so we were going to write an EP because that would given us enough songs to put a set. We had come out of a very big group of bands in our area that never really left that area. There was a strong scene, but it was very much that was the scene. It was always in Guildford. No one had sort of gone further than the four walls of Guildford. And we were like, we want to go out. I want to see Scotland. I want to go to Birmingham.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're here now, you know, and going further than we ever have done, whether it be music or countries or touring. And I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic journey, you know. We were discussing this the other day between us, you know. We're one of these bands that's always been a slow burner, but that's been a great feeling because we're getting stronger over time. You know, some bands, they can come out, they can release an album and be at the top of the pile pretty quickly. But for us, we are strengthening over the years, and I wouldn't want it any other way, really. I think that's a good representation of what our band is. That people have stuck by us and we've grown. You know, we're like an army. An army grows and it gains momentum over time. So.
Yeah, I remember when we were all talking about what we're going to call ourselves in the car park. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And there is no exciting story behind this. I think I'm like, yeah, right. I'm setting it up for like a big reveal, but no.
It just looked good on a t-shirt.
Yeah, my point is that I remember that. You know, we remember those days, and it's God. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a long time ago, but then I don't know. We've still got the hunger for it, and it's still. You know, the music evolves and changes, and you know,
it's never become stale.
No.
Like the whole being in a band, whether it be touring, whether it be writing music, whether it be creating music videos, none of that's become labour to us. Like it's never felt that we've had to force that kind of feeling out of us. You know, we have lost members over the years, only because life does change for certain members, but. The people that have stuck in it and the way we are now and the unit we've got now is probably the strongest we've ever been, and that's great. You know, that's a motivation in itself, and we, as long as we keep motivated, I think, you know, the world's our oysters. I think a great saying you said is it reach for the moon and
reach for the moon and land on the stars. No, reach for the stars
and land on the moon. That's it.
That's the one.
That's the one.
The wrong way around.
The wrong way around. But it's a great statement.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that we've never lost that scope. So.
Yeah, I mean, without sounding too cliched, what has come with being in the band for 10 years is maturity, and I think we've just learned to not care about a lot of things now. Just worry about ourselves, enjoy it, and write good, honest music, and we're going to enjoy it a lot more. Actually, you know, like I remember in the early days we used to worry about what all these other bands were doing, and we haven't got this tour, or we're not playing that show, or we just worry. And what really was important was concentrating on what our band is doing. You know, what are we doing? Just don't worry about everybody else. We're on our own path. And as soon as we start doing that, you know, next thing you know, the band's 10 years old. Yeah. Most bands don't get to 5 years old. No. So, you know, there you go. Who's winning?
Who's winning? But no, it's good.
That was a joke.
I think it's, you know, here's to the next 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. No.
Taking his words out of his mouth.
All right, one quick thing before the end. I had a good laugh yesterday because you mentioned your band name, and I saw that you have an opening slot now in the UK, and you're opening for Polaris.
Yeah.
And that's quite funny for me because I told friends about this evening, and they're all mixed you guys up. Kind of Polaris and Polar, and you said it's just a name that has a good ring and people will remember it.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, I 1 year ago, I'd never heard of any of this, because there's a few, different, you know, Polary.
You could strip it off in the poster, and it just could be Polar is Polar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that.
You could do that.
Yeah, but it's, you know,
good band.
I don't know, you know, I don't think it really matters, but it's quite funny.
I think the music, we work well together. I think if you put us on the same bill, You know,
Yeah.
I think it's quite funny though, because it does create that bit of like interest. You know, people are like a talking point, and you know, people do see the humour in it, and I like that.
It was always going to happen
Yeah.
as soon as they sort of became known to myself. I could see it coming. I could see the connection. I could see the show was going to happen one day, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're fans. You know, we like those guys. We love their record. Mortal Coil's a great record, so you know, it's going to be a good show. Be fun. First of many, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them open for Architects here in Munich. They're a great live band.
Yeah.
So, basic question for the end: what are still achievements you want to get with the band in the next 10 years, of course?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I think there's the obvious sort of certain shows and certain festivals, you know, ones that you want to play and stuff.
Concrete examples, please.
Sorry?
Some examples.
Oh, some examples.
You know, like things like with Full Force, is that one that comes
with
up every
Full
year?
Yeah.
You know, Grows Rock's always been talked about. Some of these festivals were festivals that, you know, I went to, or you know, places that you've kind of got this nostalgic sort of being there as a punter and not as an artist, like Reading and Leeds. These are kind of places that we want to see ourselves sort of getting onto, and you know, having a good slot of them as well. You know, sort of an early evening slot. You know, where you're going to be playing to the maximum amount of people. Those are kind of like realistic achievements we can do, and to make our music. You know, like evolve our sound even more. That in itself is going to be a big achievement, and I'll be really excited to see where it ends. So
Yeah, I would just be excited to see where our music ends up within now and the next 10 years. Like, you know, where it may take us, what country. I mean, we would love to go to some other countries.
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Japan, Australia,
America's
America.
always been talked about.
You know, that would be something on my list that I think would be good to achieve. You know, some different. Europe's great, UK's cool. We've been to Scandinavia, it's great, beautiful, very cold. But let's go to some other further flung places.
Yeah.
You know, that would be good.
See what the response is like.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a really good achievement. Like,
Yeah.
So, thanks for the interview.
No, thank you.
For your future.
Thanks.
Very, very nice.
see you again. Like, thank you for having us again. Like,
Yeah.
No problem.
yeah,
Looking forward to tonight. That's what I am.
yeah.
Time.
Me too. So, have fun on stage.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cheers, mate.
Goodbye.
Take care. Thank you.